Hello, this is really wonky and I don't know why. Maybe my table's wonky. Maybe I'm wonky. Who knows? Today I wanted to make another weekly reading wrap up. I think this would be a nice thing to integrate into my channel, kind of going into the new year, and something that I can continue to make consistently. So I thought Vlogmas is the place to start. And also, planning out a whole Vlogmas worth of videos is hard, so having some recurring weekly themes is always nice. The difference between this weekly reading wrap up and last week's weekly reading wrap up is that last week I finished 3 books, and I kind of predicted then that there was every chance that this week I wouldn't finish any books, and that is exactly what's happened. But I have started a new audiobook and started a new physical book, so I thought I'd take you through kind of where I'm at with them so far. So the audiobook I started after I finished Wings of Ebony by J.L. was Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn, which is the sequel to Legendborn and the second book in the Legendborn cycle. I'm currently 36% of my way through the audiobook, and actually I'm having a really good time considering I rated book 1 3 stars. So like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, and there were lots of things that I found complicated and a bit convoluted. But actually, now that I'm into book 2, I can totally understand that book 1 was the setup. Granted, I still think it was too long. The font was way too small in that book, and I think it could have been done more concisely and efficiently. But because of the time that I spent on book 1, I'm now enjoying book 2 a lot more. Some of the kind of rules and regulations of the cult secret club thing that I can't remember the name of, the table or whatever it is called, are still a bit complicated, and the more rules that get brought in still get a little bit muddled up in my mind. But again, that's probably a reflection of my reading comprehension and not actually the storytelling, because this is a book designed for teenagers and I am well away from being a teenager now, so it's probably more a reflection on me than the book. So yeah, I'm still finding it a little bit complicated, but everything that was set up in book 1 has led really well into book 2, and at the 36% mark, it's not like anything's been resolved. The cliffhanger from book 1 is still hanging. Obviously, we're not at this point in the book, you wouldn't expect anything to be resolved. If anything, there's more questions because there has to be a plot for book 2. That is how books work. Wow, I am saying insightful and intelligent things today. It's all got very intense, actually. I don't want to talk too much about it because I think the thing with talking about sequels is that it's really easy to accidentally spoil the first book in the series or the earlier books in the series, and I don't want to spoil anything. Really enjoying it. The character development is looking really good so far. The new characters that have been brought in are really interesting. My main criticism, actually, because I'm listening to this predominantly as an audiobook, I do have the physical book but I've listened to it exclusively on audio so far, is that the Scottish accent of the audiobook narrator is horrendous. I'd rather she just didn't do it. Just give him an American accent. I said this about book 1. The English accent in book 1 was terrible. But I mean, if that's my only criticism, it's not much of a criticism, is it? And if I was going to rate it, I think I'd probably put it at the 4-star mark so far. I'm definitely enjoying it more than Legendborn, which I rated 3 stars, so it makes sense to put it up a star. But it's not given me the 5-star enthusiasm yet. But like I say, I'm only 36% of the way in, so the make or break will be in the last 20%, I have no doubt. But this audiobook is really long, and I do most of my audiobook listening while I'm driving, and I don't have... Actually, I've got loads of long drives coming up because we're doing Christmas here, there and everywhere except my house this year. But I'm doing all of those drives with my husband, and he doesn't really want to listen to my... Actually, to be fair, if I said to him, do you want to listen to your podcast and I'll listen to my audiobook, he'd probably be like, yeah, okay. But we like having our dance parties while we drive, so I'm not going to have any driving time to listen to my audiobook, so I need to find/make time to do that. And then the other book I'm currently reading is My Policeman by Bethan Roberts, and according to Storygraph, I'm 54% of the way through it. This is my book club pick for the month, so very brief summary. When my husband and I got married last year, instead of having a gift list or a registry, we asked our guests to gift us a copy of their favourite books. So we have a little library of our favourite people's favourite books, and in an endeavour to read them all, we take it in turns to pick one a month, and I read it and he doesn't. This month I chose My Policeman. It's a bit tricky because on the one hand I'm enjoying it. When I went onto Storygraph to put in that I'd started reading it, I saw that it had LGBTQ as a genre, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this book was gay, and I got more excited about it because I like gay books. As soon as it started, I was like, oh, okay, I know the direction this gay historical book is taking. I can see where it's going. But I think what I'm struggling with this week is that I've been really tired. So reading this physical book with my eyes has been really challenging, and it keeps sending me to sleep. I'm in this kind of weird mindset where I keep ending up getting stuck on my phone before I go to sleep, so I'll end up playing stupid phone games or scrolling through TikTok or, you know, sharing stupid Instagram posts with my husband instead of reading, and that sucks. So there was a couple of days last week, there was one night where I read a solid 3 pages, which was 1 chapter, and then the following night I read a solid 10 pages, which was also 1 chapter. But then when I do make the time, and I make sure that when I get into bed I don't have anything to do on my phone and I don't end up getting stuck on my phone, last night I read nearly 70 pages and hit the 50% mark. So if I can continue at that kind of pace, hopefully when I come back for next week's weekly reading wrap up, hopefully I will have finished my policeman and I can give you a full review. But at this point we're not there yet. I really like the characters. The main 3 characters are all so sweet in their own ways, and I think it's going to be heart-wrenching when the like 3rd act conflict or any kind of conflict actually comes in, because they're all so likable and sweet in their own way, and they're all just trying to be happy, and it's a historical gay book, so it's really hard. Yeah, I think the other thing I'm vaguely struggling with in reading it is the writing style. There's a lot of second person perspective used in this book, which is not actually something I've ever read before. It's kind of written in the style of almost like a narrative, like as if they're writing a book for another person. I think it's meant to be letters, but it's not formatted that way. So a lot of it is written in the second perspective using, is you a pronoun? I think it must be. Yeah, so a lot of the book is kind of addressed to you, but it's not you the reader, it's another character that's being addressed, and I found that a little bit confusing to wrap my head around. I am enjoying it. I do really like the characters. It's reminded me that I do actually like historical books. I was just saying this in a TikTok actually, that I need to make more of an effort to diversify the genres of my reading, because I think I got stuck in a bit of a contemporary romance rut this year, and it's only been kind of the latter quarter of this year that I've actually started reading from different genres again and reminding myself that I do actually like these genres, so I need to be more open to reading them. I'm kind of glad that this happened for my 2nd week of doing weekly reading wrap-ups, because whenever I do these videos on TikTok, like if there's a week where I haven't finished a book, I'll often just skip this video and make something else instead. But I think it's nice to talk about books whilst you're part of the way through them. I think if I was doing reading vlogs and I was like documenting how I felt about a book all the way through reading it, this is the kind of way I'd be talking about it. It's nice to talk about things in a different way. I'm not sure if I'll make it through Bloodmarked by next week, because it's a really long audiobook, and like I say, I'm only 36% of the way through it, and I don't have any solo driving time coming up really. I've still got 9.5 hours left if I continue listening at 1.5 speed, so it's gonna take me a hot minute to finish that, but my aim is to finish it by January. My policeman, I did hit the 50% mark last night. I've got less than 200 pages left, so hopefully I will finish that by next week, because I'd really like to read another Christmas book before Christmas, because I bought so many Christmas books. I think I've got 9 waiting to be read. I've read 1. Nothing officially to wrap up this week, but there's a little update on the 2 books that I am currently reading. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear about what you've been reading in the comments down below. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas video. Bye!